Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to begin a new series called Common Sense Christianity. I hope it'll be a series of several of these lectures that will give you the basics, everything you need. Okay? Or, to put it another way, I will talk about what you will discover for yourself when you begin the journey. Okay? Now, let's begin with something very simple. It's from a book written by Madame Jeanne Guyon. Madame Jeanne Guyon was a very spiritual lady. She lived around 1700. And she lived at a time when there was an awakening, where some people were awakened to find God. They actually found God, okay, and walked with God. You know, like Noah did and Elijah did. She was one of those people. Another was Miguel Molinos. Another was François Fenelon. Okay? Surprisingly, they were all in the Catholic Church. Okay? And they were persecuted too. In fact, Madame Guyon, a very lovely lady, was put in jail. And so was Miguel Molinos was put in jail. What did they do? They simply talked in such a way that would awaken people to the truth, where people could find God for themselves and wouldn't have to have a middleman. See, the middle men and women, like the Pharisees. Remember, right? The Sadducees and the Pharisees were the people that Christ had the harshest words for, because they blocked people from finding truth, from finding God, from finding life. And they used all kinds of clever tricks, and one of them was to force people to study the scripture. And they walked around with robes and pretended that they had the answers, and they tricked people or seduced people into hypnotically looking to them for answers. And aren't those types still around today? Okay. So the first thing you have to know is this. Okay, first from her book. She wrote a wonderful book called Experiencing God Through Prayer. There are various titles, but it's easy to find. It's the main book written by Madame Jeanne Guyon. But she begins the book by saying, everyone is capable of praying. But many have the mistaken idea that they are not called to prayer. Now, when she says prayer, what she means is, if you read the book or listen to me, what she actually means is what is the same as my meditation. Okay? In other words, to learn to sit still and find the presence of God. Or, to put it another way, if you're not a person who likes to talk about God or anything, then let's just say sit still and find your ground of being. Become centered. Okay? And live in the moment. See? And rediscover your intuition. Rediscover your intuition. That's what you had a long time ago when you were a little child, before you were upset and emotionalized and hurt and teased and pressured. You see? You had that. That's your closest link to what you could be. And if you can refine that, which is not hard, you get my meditation, you can learn how to do it in 6 minutes. Once you get back in touch with it again, instead of constantly living in your thoughts and emotions, then you can begin to flow from it. Okay? So that's what she meant by prayer. Now, here's another thing that she said, and this is the main point that I'm getting to, and that is this. She says, I'm going to read this. It's so beautiful. I wasn't planning to read this. She says, prayer can help you attain perfection. And you can substitute the word proper meditation, like my meditation, stillness meditation. Okay? Prayer can help you attain perfection because it will keep you in the presence of God. It will keep you in the presence of God. Okay? We are brought into His presence and kept there without interruption through prayer. See? If you begin each day with a little meditation, which is the same as is sitting still before God and welcoming Him into your life and renewing your commitment to wanting to know the truth. Instead of lies, which there are plenty of those, right? Deceit, trickery, see, and instead of cruelty and anger and hatred and all those things, you want to find the plain and simple truth. Okay? Well, a commitment to that. And then to living that truth. When you find it, then you live it. Okay? Well, that's what the meditation begins. And then you go out in the world and you carry that meditative, or Madame Guyon would say prayerful, state of mind, okay, or space with you. And so everything you do, you have that with you, like a delicate strain of beautiful music following you everywhere you go. And it modifies it modifies how you act and even how you think. See, instead of becoming unglued and all upset about something, you'll begin to more and more take things with equanimity, not get upset by them. Instead of becoming angry at people, you will have compassion for them. You'll see that most people are lost. They can't help themselves. They're not deliberately trying to hurt you or be mean or anything. They're all messed up. A lot of people are broken. You'll see that, and you won't hate them anymore. And you'll see that your parents, see, then as you go through the day, and then things that happen during the day will jog your memory of things from the past. But now you'll see those things from the past in the light that you have with you. And in that light, you'll see that your parents, they couldn't help themselves either. They were lost, just like you are. Have you been lost? Have you wanted to do all the things that you've done? Or did you do things and you didn't even know why you did them and wished you hadn't? Okay, well, that's the way they were too. No one was there for them when they were little children, to guide them, to tutor them, to be there for them. See, to delicately lead them to this threshold. Instead, they were slapped around and kicked around and pressured and put down and challenged, and they lost it long ago, so forgive them. Okay? All right, so here's the part I've been wanting to get to. Madame Guyon says, she says there's only one requirement, though, that you must follow at all times. There's only one requirement, though, that you must follow at all times. It will not interfere with outward actions. It can be practiced by princes, kings, priests, soldiers, children, and laborers. The simple requirement is that you must learn to pray from your heart and not your head. You must learn to pray from your heart and not from your head. Okay? Now I'm going to explain that to you. That's important. But first I want to mention the thing that I wanted to say from the very beginning. There's so much good stuff here. I go off on these tangents, but they're good tangents, aren't they? Okay. She says it can be practiced by princes, kings, queens, priests, soldiers, children, laborers, anyone. So the point is that anyone can find God. You don't have to study to find. I've always said you can't find God through study. In fact, if you try to study, see, Christ said you search the scriptures, see, for answers, and you don't find them in the scripture, and here I am, and you don't even see me. Instead, you're looking in dusty old books. Okay? You can't study your way to God. So a lot of times people have degrees, all kinds of theology and philosophy and psychology and psychiatry and whatever degrees they have. See, they're actually farther from their common sense, farther from the what's the word I want? The humble, the touch. See, being just a regular person. That's what you have to be. Oh, sure, they pretend to be a regular person. On weekends, they put on flip-flops and sandals and wear jeans, tight, skinny jeans, and, listen to music on their iPhone and so on. They pretend to be just regular people, see, but actually they're all caught up in their studies. And it gives them a high, but it's hypnotic. And it keeps them it interferes with their finding God. It's a miracle. There are some people who were very studied. For example, Augustine, for example, was very studied, but he seemed to have something special. He did. It seems like he found God. He loved God. I think that's what, okay, he loved God. See? So all you have to do, like I said earlier, is love the truth or yearn for the truth. See, your love for God, your love for it's a yearning. That's all. It's the only love you can know. Is to yearn for Him and hope that He comes. Okay. But like I said, it doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter whether you're unemployed, whether you're working at Starbucks, whether you're working as a clerk somewhere, or in a retail shop as a salesperson, or whether you're managing a pest control company, or whether you're sweeping a street somewhere, or collecting coins from parking meters, or see, it doesn't matter. Or just a regular person, just at home. You're a mom, or maybe you're a dad, temporarily out of work, or maybe you go to work every day as a, I don't know, mechanic. Doesn't matter. Sure, you can be a teacher, or sure you could be a doctor or something. Of course. Okay, but the point is, people on the bottom, see, the regular people, just regular folks. Okay, they sometimes think, well, I'm not smart enough and I haven't studied enough and so on, but that's not true. See, and then people who think, well, I don't believe in God. Okay, I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in God. Not a Christian. See, that's okay too. If you love truth and you somehow sense, see, that there's something missing in your life and you want to find it, but you want to find the real thing, not something phony, well, that will qualify you also. Okay? Now I want to talk about what she said about you must learn to pray from your heart and not from your head. Okay, now I need to explain that because some people will misunderstand it. When she says that, she doesn't mean emotionally. See, when we think of heart, we think of romance and emotions and crying and all kinds. No, she doesn't mean that. That's not what she means. I understand what she means. What she means is, she means from the center of your being. See, to pray from the center of your being. Okay, which you could say is your heart. And not with flowery words. See, the thing about words is they're hypnotic. From the time you were little, people used words. They used words on you when you were little, didn't they? They scared you. Some little children have been terrorized by their parents. Parents said awful things like, "You're such a bad child that, you know, one of these days I'm going to leave and never come back." See, or something like that. And it terrorized the little children. Their hearts started to beat really fast, and they were scared. See? Well, so words, see how words can have an effect, or you're no good, or you're not grateful like your sister. You're not kind like you just don't have the skill of your brother. You'll never be a good ball player. You don't have his skill. You don't have his guts, or you see, cruel things, unnecessary, or challenging, teasing. See, anyway, you know how it is. And at school, people said mean things behind your back. So words can be used to do a lot of harm. And one of the things you'll learn as you progress, if you begin the meditation that I have, progress on this journey toward the light. One of the things you'll learn is how to not react to words. Let them go in one ear and out the other. Okay? But when you were a little child, you reacted. Okay? So now words, see, so words become like things, and things that get a reaction from our body. Our body experiences changes because of the words to which they are reacting. Well, it's all hypnotic. It's external. It's programming. So some people mumble. But since words had the ability to make them upset, to hurt them, or to lift them up when they were down, and so on, because they kept reacting to words, they think, well, words, see, they start to think words can really do powerful things, but they can't. All they can do is confuse you and mess you up and get you reacting to them. And they can deceive you, where you think you have something where you really don't. So praying from the heart means not praying from your head, from words, not wordy words. Not praying from your imagination, where you're lost most of the time, or from thinking, or from analyzing, or from trying to figure things out, or trying to prove things. Praying from the heart means praying from your center of being, just sitting still, sitting quiet, learning to be still. It says in the Bible, God said, be still and know that I am God, okay? So be still from the center of your being, okay? That's all you have to do, is learn to be still. Now, are thoughts still going to go going by? Of course. There'll be, no sooner you sit down to meditate than the thought will come, like what you're going to do, or where you're going to go, or what you want to eat, or what you did yesterday, or who knows what thoughts will come. Of course, there they are. So you just observe it, let it pass. Like a river, you're sitting on the bank of a river and the thoughts are flowing by, just like a river flows by. Okay? But you're standing back and you're observing them. You observe the thought that wants to pull you in. You observe it. Okay? And as you observe it, you're no longer pulled into it. See? You're separate from it and observing it. And you sit quietly in the present again. Become aware of your hands. As I teach in my meditation, your hands become tingly and you feel still. You hear the bird singing. Then another thought will come along, and here it comes, and it distracts you, something you're thinking of doing later in the day. And okay, so there it is, and you observe it, see? But now you don't get pulled into it. You just observe it, okay? So now can you see you're centered? And from your center, from your heart, you're observing the thoughts go by without reacting to them, without struggling with them, without trying to repress them or blank them, or on the one hand, but not escaping into them and flowing away and, getting pulled in and sucked down into them either. When you see somebody that's all depressed and sitting around moping and so on and so forth, where are they? They're lost in thoughts. See? When you see someone making a big mistake, they're going out with some guy, he's no good, you know he's no good. You try to warn them, they won't listen. So where are they? They're lost in thoughts and emotions. Okay. Well, I think I've said enough. To get started, all you need to do is get a little meditation and start practicing it every morning for 5 or 6 minutes at noon, and then again to evening. You can use my little recording, my MP3, or I have a video version of it on YouTube. You can watch the video version, then listen to it. Okay? You can use the audio from it. So you can close your eyes and listen. Use my voice as long as you want, but eventually or soon you can just not even need my voice anymore. It's so simple, then you just do it on your own. And it could do you a world of good. It'll get you started on this path to truth, to being centered, to finding yourself. Okay? It's an adventure. We love adventures where people go off on an adventure to find something. Okay? And a lot of times, as they're on the adventure of finding something, and like we've read books or seen good movies, along the way they also discover a lot of things about themselves, don't they? And then figure out who they are. And see. So that's the way this journey is. You begin a journey toward the truth using the meditation. And along the way, you'll not only solve a lot of old issues, you'll prevent new issues from arising. You'll have a lot of insights, okay? And you'll begin to discover wonderful things that you've always wanted to know about. Now you'll just know them. Just all of a sudden you'll wake up and you'll just know, wordlessly. You go around and you see things happening, and then you have insights about it. You begin to see the why of things, okay? And you begin to understand yourself. And then you also develop a very wonderful thing. It's called patience. Patience with others. Patience with yourself. Patience with your children, okay? These things will happen not because I say so, but because that's the way it will be when you begin this journey in earnest, okay? With the help of my meditation. So, I hope you enjoyed today's little lecture. My name is Roland.